Welcome to the Lowdown, the newest podcast from Belden Communications, hosted by yours truly, Wayne Belden, president of Belden Communications, and co-hosted by my son, John Belden, vice president of Belden Communications. Listen to the Lowdown as John and I chat and get candid with those in the know about the hottest issues affecting all of us in Volusia and Flagler Counties. We'll sometimes be direct, get loud, and sometimes hilarious, but always educational and informational about the challenging aspects of issues facing us all. Which topics will we cover, and who will be our guests? Well, you can bet it will be someone who can have a direct impact on the subject we're talking about. You can hear and watch our podcast live on Facebook on a pre-announced date each month. Be sure to tune in because whatever topic we're covering, we'll be giving you the Lowdown. Ah, yes. Welcome once again. We are here live. So welcome to the Lowdown, a podcast created with you in mind, as I said in the open. It's our hope to bring you the Lowdown, your need-to-know podcast on the first Friday of each month, where we talk about the hottest issues with pertinent guests that affect all of us here in Volusia and Flagler Counties. It's our intent to be able to have guests on our podcast with direct influence on issues at hand and get something done or at least help to get some issues resolved. So let's get things started by introducing my co-host, my son John, who's the vice president of Belden Communications. John, welcome to the Lowdown. I'm happy to have you as my co-host, son.
Happy Friday there, Pop. It's going to be another great show. We've got not only a guest, but a good friend of ours that we'll be getting ready to talk to. But first, I'd like to go ahead and introduce as well our producer, Mr. Phil Bird. How you doing there, Phil?
Oh, man, this stuff is really, really cool. What St. Jude's does is amazing.
It is amazing. It's a feel-good story, and we appreciate good community partners. Before we get rolling, I'd like to go ahead and thank today's sponsor, which is Country Inn and Suites by Radisson here in Port Orange, Florida. Soak up the Florida sun at Country Inn and Suites by Radisson in Port Orange, conveniently located just off I-95 and only minutes from the beach. Country Inn and Suites by Radisson in Port Orange makes a great launching pad for your Florida beach vacation. The whole family can play in the surf at beautiful New Smyrna Beach or enjoy roller coasters and go-karts at Daytona Beach 3 amusement parks, all less than 12 miles from this hotel. If you're a NASCAR fan, you won't want to miss the races at iconic Daytona International Speedway, and bargain hunters can score deals at nearby Tanger outlets. There's something for everybody, only minutes from the hotel. For more information, book your stay now at portorangeconnection.com at Country Inn and Suites, and you can book your stay now. All right, guys.
Excellent, John. Excellent. Today, we're honored to have as our guest David Vanvalkenburgh. You couldn't name yourself Smith, huh?
Yeah, I was going to say, can you get the name any longer there? Or,
David is the host of Pars and a Purpose for Children's Cure Fundraiser Golf Tournament and Luncheon benefiting St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital. David, welcome to the Lowdown. And, before you speak, I just want to say this is the first time I found myself stumbling here. This is the first time that I've introduced somebody where they're not a CEO of something or like we had Sheriff Chitwood or something. Mm-hmm. David is a regular resident of the area who volunteers his time to raise money for St. Jude's. And I think that is phenomenal. So, David, welcome, as we said. It seems that you're no stranger to volunteer work.
He's like a super resident, right?
Yeah, that's right. A new category, super resident.
Super resident.
Right. And you volunteered for different organizations like Food Brings Hope and Hope Brings Hope, or Homes Bring Hope. Where else have you volunteered?
Well, there's every charity that happens throughout Volusia County. I'm there with a team from St. Jude's, my golf team. So every charity event that you see in Volusia County, we're either there or sponsoring it. And I do give back at those volunteers. I help them. I'm actually working with some folks right now with the Kiwanis kids.
Wow.
And I'm actually mentoring them and coaching them through their golf tournament, helping them and giving them good direction.
You believe in karma, don't you? Don't you? You believe in karma?
Karma is what I have preached my whole life, and my daughter is 33 years old, and she calls me every day with her life experiences of karma.
I can tell because you're obviously you believe in giving back, and you do as to others as you would have done to you, right?
Yeah, I mean you retired.
I am,
and you took this upon yourself, which I think is very admirable. And you picked St. Jude. And I'm glad you did because it's something I personally happen to be a big supporter of myself. But I mean, it speaks volumes for a man to take on the responsibility, all this work that you did in putting this on. Boy, you're to be commended. I'll tell you, we're lucky to have you around here.
Well, thank you, John, and thank you for having me here, and thank all of you at Belden Communications for being our title sponsor this year and helping us promote this and market it and get it out there in front of everybody and in the social media. But thank you for all your efforts in helping us again this year.
Well, it's our pleasure. Believe me, I know what it's got to be like for these parents who have children that are afflicted with cancer and some of these other diseases. I know just recently, John, your brother, my oldest son, had come down with leukemia.
Yep.
And we were told that he wasn't going to make it. And thank God he's
pulled through.
He's back doing what he loves to do, which is driving his rig all around the country.
Nice.
And and in his case, we didn't necessarily need St. Jude, but for these people that have little children, what a place to go.
I can't imagine. I mean, luckily I've got 2 healthy children, but to think of the families that have this little child, it doesn't matter what age you are, that these kids that are born and then they've got to deal with cancer. You know, when my brother was 40 and he had cancer, and it was like that's earth shattering. And so thank goodness, like you said, St. Jude's and these families, they don't have to pay for the lodging, any of that.
Wait, really?
No, it's for the medical, right? I mean, they completely.
You don't pay for anything, Phil. No
Wow.
food, lodging, nothing.
That they want to make sure that you are just focused on getting better, and they help so many families. That's why, this is my father's mission to make sure we got involved with this when we learned of your charity, and he's been donating to St. Jude's for, I don't know, I mean, ever since I was born.
Right. Absolutely.
So it's been a huge event.
Well, that continues so the child leaves the hospital also when the child comes home.
Really?
If there's prescriptions, or if that family needs help with their, whatever their needs are, that no cost to that child. That effort continues with St. Jude's until that child is in full recovery.
I didn't know that. That's something you don't really think about. It's wow. Okay.
And I didn't bring the crying towel today, so we got to be careful how deep we go. Right?
Go for it, man. It's Friday. We got the weekend to recover.
I am probably too close to a lot of these efforts, and I spend a lot of time thinking. But this year, I heard about a father who had his second child go to St. Jude's. You think you go through the first experience as a life experience of that. Could you imagine your other child and 2 children doing that?
No, and you know what goes through your head. You're going, Lord, take me. Don't. Why my kids? And wow, two children. Oof.
Whenever that ad comes on TV, and I see it all the time, man, I have a rough time looking at that.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah. And one of the things that when I have different St. Jude's events and the benefits, I always ask people, and you'll see me when I have a crowd of 100 or 300, 400 last year. I'll ask them to do one thing for me before we start the event, and I always ask them to turn around and look at the person next to them.
Yes, you do. Yep.
And ask them and tell them, thank you for helping raise funds, help children with cancer.
Yeah.
And it's really heartful when you hear somebody else doing something and you want to thank them. As you said, going forward with that. But 60 years ago, the death rate, I shouldn't say the death rate, but survival rate of a child was 20%.
Oh no!
Now it's 80%.
Today it's 80%.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
It's a lot better.
that's fun.
Yeah.
We don't give enough credit really to the man that started this, and that was Danny Thomas, that was way before your time, John, when Danny was a great TV personality, comedian, actor.
Oh, really?
He was such a great guy, and he took this task on to go and build this hospital, and he went around asking people with an open hand, didn't he? You know about this better than I do.
Yeah, he traveled through Chicago was his first stop.
Right.
And he stopped, and he just knew people, and people knew him, and they said, what do you need? And he is today, at 60 years later, I'm doing the same thing. When I ask somebody, hey, I'm looking for some help with this, and they do, and they help me, and then they say, what else can we do? And I think Danny started that same thought back 60 years ago. What else can we do? And he would ask. He would not be afraid to ask for more.
I think it's important. I mean, we got to stick together as a society, and I try. by no means am I a millionaire, or rich man, or any of that. But when the other day, the Boy Scouts or whatever, I see them, they're working hard and they're trying to raise money, and I'm like, you know what, this $10 in my wallet, I'm just going to waste it on something stupid anyways. Here's a kid that he's trying to stay out of trouble. Let me donate. And the same thing, you see the St. Jude's, it's like, do something good. Help save somebody's life. You know what I mean? I mean, I think that's important, and that's why I think that this. When you said his name was Danny Thomas, he had this vision of we need to do something to help fellow man and help these sick children, and I just think that was such a commendable thing. That's fantastic.
Well, I'm smiling and laughing when you're telling that story because something just came to my mind. I need to share with you guys. Ponce Police Department, who I volunteer and do some work with in the police department, they donated 20 bicycles to me, St. Jude's.
Okay.
And I fixed them up and I cleaned them. Some of them didn't have chain guards, and I, threw them in the garbage. But I put them out on my front yard with, donations, and people would say, well, how much do you want to sell the bike for? I said, well, it's not for sale. It's a donation. And I sold some or got donations from them. And there was 3 or 4 bikes out there, and the garbage guy came to my house one day, knocked on the door, and he had the garbage truck sitting out in front of my drive, and he says, sir, he says, I've seen your sign up here, I've seen your license plate. He says, I know you work with St. Jude's. He says, I have a few extra dollars this week. I'd like to give it to you.
Wow.
And he gave me $8. The next day when the garbage man came around, I took some of the coupons that I had from my sponsors, and I think I gave him enough to live off for a week, between the McDonald's coupons and Panera Bread and the free sandwich here and the free and I see that man, and I called the Waste Pro garbage truck. And not only is that man like that, in that one day, he's like that every day. When he goes out there, he makes sure that you're satisfied with his service, and he waves to you and says, hey, anything okay? Is there anything else I can do for you? Those are the type of people that will be paying it forward the rest of their lives,
Absolutely.
like you and I.
Right.
Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah. And it's good to hear that story, because right now, the way things are in our country, there is so much hate evolving that you lose faith a little bit, and it's good to hear those stories because it restores the fact that we're Americans. We're still the greatest country in the world, despite what some of the things that you hear going on. So that's fantastic. I love hearing that kind of stuff.
Of course.
But something had to motivate you to go into volunteering like this. What was it?
Well, as I said, I didn't bring my crying towel.
Uh-oh.
So we can't go too deep.
Well, we are at a hotel. I can go get a towel if I need to.
Yeah, there's plenty of towels here.
I've had a very blessed life, John. I've had a very difficult life. My parents both passed away when I was younger. But I've been very blessed for the people who I've worked for. They've taken care of me, put me to college, paid for my college. And I've accelerated through my career. And there's a book out there by Dr. Johnson, and it's called 1 Minute Manager. Have you gentlemen heard of that?
Yes, I have.
And it's about going through life, not really disciplining, but praise somebody, but then tell them what they did wrong, and then pat them on the back and tell them how well they're liked and how well they're needed in their corporation or wherever they are. And I've lived that karma, as you mentioned, John, paying it forward, because I had a very difficult life, but throughout my whole life, I had people helping me, mentoring me. Mm-hmm. And when I had a chance to do this when I retired, I committed to it.
That's very, very admirable. And I know that there's got to be a lot of people out there that are going through a hard life and maybe wondering why. And this is a good lesson. Stop wondering why and start putting one foot in front of the other and try and go help somebody else, okay, through the difficulty that you yourself are going through. And you'll find you're going to come out a lot better for it.
Yep.
And I think that's really... how many years have you been fundraising for St. Jude's now?
23.
Man, that's huge.
My first event was a benefit that I had no idea what I was doing. I actually was a member of a private golf course, and a bunch of us players, just like it was last year, just get together, let's play golf, raise some money for St. Jude's, we'll get some beer, and then go have a good time. I asked the managing partner of Carrabba's, and he says, Dave, I'll sponsor your event. We'll bring out the grills and put them in the parking lot and grilled chicken for 150 players.
Now, I got to ask, did you know the guy at the time?
It was a Carrabba's that when I first went to work in that area, I was living in a hotel for a couple of months, and Carrabba's is pretty nice, and I was on expenses, so I went there every night for dinner.
Okay, so
he knew me.
So he knew you, okay. And this was your first time.
But he said yes. He says I'll do that and I was
Wow.
I was overwhelmed as I
have
am
to be.
today.
Yeah.
And he walked across the street. Says let's go see my buddy Brad at Outback Steakhouse. We walked in. He said, "Hey Brad, here's Dave. I'd like to introduce you. You're going to do lunch for Dave for your hamburgers."
See, we need to hire that guy as a salesperson. I like him already.
He goes, you're going to do lunch for Dave, and I'll have my grills there. You can barbecue the burgers for the lunch, and I'm doing dinner. And then we both, Brad and John, we walked down to Chick-fil-A, and we saw Kevin. I said, "Kevin, we need breakfast."
I like this guy. That's awesome.
So within a matter of 2 hours, I had dinner with Carrabba's, grilling in the parking lot. And, when people heard that, they say, same thing. Who's this guy? I was nobody. I just asked. And when they said, "What more can we do?" I said, "Oh, I need breakfast." We went to Chick-fil-A and did it. Next thing I know, I got a quarter keg of beer on every other hole. That's the only sponsors I had. It was 23 years ago, and I raised over $10,000 in one golf day.
Wow, phenomenal. That leads me to my next question. How much money in that 23 years do you think you've totaled so far that you've raised?
With my efforts, my personal efforts, I don't know the number, but it's got to be north of $200,000. Nice. But I was in an event this year that I was part of that I helped. With the event, I wasn't leading it, but it was in St. Augustine, and we raised $227,000.
Good job.
One
Wow.
day. So
now last year, how much did we raise last year?
last year we raised just short of $41,000, and that was almost twice as much as my goal was. I never thought I would get there.
Awesome.
Wow.
Awesome. And you were talking about, what are we looking at this year?
This year, as I was saying earlier, it's a milestone. Yesterday was a milestone. We raised over $40,000 already this year, and I'm forecasting $75,000.
Wow,
Fantastic.
that's phenomenal.
Wow.
I wish we had a live audience here. Do we have a live audience sound effects by any chance?
Yeah, that's right.
That's phenomenal.
That's great. That means the people here are doing a great job. We're doing fantastic. We're doing good things, and and you were doing fantastic.
Thanks, John.
Yes, absolutely, man. It's moving.
And
It's
if we have any
inspirational.
listeners that want to contribute or get involved,
Yep.
how can they do it?
If you want to, an easy way right off the top, you want to email me at info@beldencommunications.com, or if Dave, you want to put some information out, please go ahead.
Well, I think our website is on your
Yep.
website, so you can link right through to our website, and on our website you can make donations, make a gift, and if you're interested in being a sponsor, you can contact me directly. If you're interested in playing in the golf tournament on Sunday, we still have an opening for about 20 or 30 people. We did sell out Saturday back in June, which was phenomenal because I reached out last year and we sold 75 tickets in the first week because people played last year played again. So they could play in the golf tournament, and it's a lot of fun.
So excuse me. If you go into portorangeconnection.com, you'll see the banner ad there on the homepage. Pars on the Purpose, the leaderboard ad there, and you can actually follow that link and you can donate right there as well. So yeah, you got more than many ways you can definitely get in contact.
And I promise you, if you are listening right now and you go on portorangeconnection.com and you make a donation, I promise you are going to feel so good about getting involved because you're really going to be helping somebody.
Yep.
Really. So,
Dave, do you play in the tournament yourself?
I do not play on the Saturday event. I do plan on playing Sunday, and the events that I do play with, I'm usually taking sponsors like Tom from Country Inn and Suites and some of my sponsors, and we go more and have fun. But when I do play in the other charity events through Volusia County, I have a St. Jude's golf team, and we've won 3 out of 4 events this year.
So
Are
you're good is what you're
you
saying.
good?
I won the Chamber of Commerce event for Port
So I
Orange.
can't play with him then because I have to do best ball. I'm not really good, but I like to go play. I did the mayor's tournament with some buddies, and thank goodness it was best ball.
Oh my gosh.
so what was the actual turnout for the event last year?
For attendees.
Yes.
We kept the ballroom, which is a maximum of 400 or 380. We kept that to a capacity of 75%. So I think in the ballroom last year that you folks attended, I think we had about 275, and we had 120 golfers during the day and 40 to 50 volunteers throughout the day that helped me on the golf course.
So we very obviously met your fundraising goal.
Yes, definitely.
Right. Okay. Let's give a shout out to Crane Lakes for
Yep.
that tremendous luncheon.
Absolutely. Crane Lakes is a great sponsor, great partner with us. I had lunch with Rod yesterday with a few other key sponsors of ours, and Rod and his staff there do a phenomenal job for us, and I can't say enough about them.
And you had some great entertainment out there. I assume you're going to do the same this year?
Yeah, absolutely. Jan and Les from Stir It Up Band will be there. And we have Tim Pike on sax from Miami. He's going to be playing with them. And on Sunday, Tim's going to do sax by himself on Sunday.
I mean, you had an ice cream bar there from Ritter's. I mean, you had all kinds of good stuff. It was awesome.
And there was people dancing up a storm. I mean, they were cutting up a rug.
Yeah, it was
a great time.
It was.
It was a great time. Everybody, you need to get involved with this and come and join us and have a lot of fun.
Well, I would like to give a shout out to a few of my sponsors.
Absolutely.
I know I might miss a couple, and if I do, I apologize for that. But Panera Bread does a phenomenal job for us. They come out and do breakfast for 150 people both days, and they give us all sorts of sponsorship. If you go to the Panera Bread here in Port Orange, they have signs all throughout the restaurant, and they also have our flyers for our luncheon and everything.
I had them delivery to my house last night. I'm not afraid to say it was delicious. So Panera Bread, so support them. Great
you
food.
know, Hooters provides 500 wings for the players when they come off the course, just to have the wings. And then this year, Rose Villa is our title food sponsor, and Pat Sullivan and the staff at Rose Villa have done a phenomenal job at all of our events this year, not just this coming up one in October, but Rose Villa is going to do jambalaya and baked ziti for 300 plus people.
Wow.
Nice.
I know the food you had last year was very good.
Yes.
I mean, I even went back for seconds. It was excellent.
Is there a donation fee for spectators?
No.
No, people can just come and
Just a
hang out.
donation.
The only thing it is, if you walk across the golf course, anywhere on the golf course, you're going to see Home Depot, one of our corporate sponsors. You're going to see their buckets, and it says donations accepted. It's like a magnet. If you walk past one of those Home Depot buckets, the karma won't work with you unless you put a little donation.
I mean, come on, man.
You might get hit by a golf ball, so be careful.
You're helping some kids. Empty. You find some change. You got it.
Right.
Now, how many slots are available for this tournament that's coming up this year?
Well, as I said, Saturday's tournament was sold out back in June, so we added Sunday. Sunday, we about 75% sold out, so we have about 20 to 30 more slots, and I do expect to sell those out in the next few weeks because the word is out that we are filling up. I sold 5 teams this week.
Nice.
Wow.
Nice.
Right. So you golfers out there, get involved, sign up.
And you don't have to be good. Just go out and have some fun.
Good, because I'm not.
Yeah.
I've never swung.
You never.
It's called a golf club.
That's what it's called.
Not a stick.
I was going to say stick.
I've never swung a bat on the golf course before.
It's like cricket, right? That's what it is. Never happened before.
As long as you have one guy that can get the ball down the field, then you can play best ball. Because that's what they do, right? It's best ball.
Yes.
Yeah. So there you go.
The best ball.
Par 15.
And your goal for this year is, like you said, is 75,000?
I'm forecasting 75,000. Last year's goal was 25,000. We did 40. I'm forecasting 75,000. But I have always worked in the corporate world, and I know if you forecast a number and don't reach it, you didn't do good. So if
Right.
you forecast a number and you go over it, you're a hero.
Right.
We're going to be heroes for the kids this year.
Right. Excellent. Excellent. Wouldn't that be great if we raised 100,000?
That would be
Wouldn't that be
amazing.
phenomenal?
Yep.
Wow.
We have the tools to get there. Dave, man, you do phenomenal. The work that you do and the hours that you put into this. I mean, I've worked around a lot of events over the years, nowhere near the amount that you have, but I know the kind of work that you do, and we have some amazing partners in this community, and you come very highly respected.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you're a major reason why this all happens is because of you. Let me tell you, point blank. I'm not trying to embarrass you, or but
Right.
you have a
Or
lot to do with
tissues.
that. Yeah.
Dave, I got a question too. I don't know if this may pertain. This is about St. Jude's. Do you know the actual process of how a child is selected to go to St. Jude's?
I know the high level, not the details, but if a child is with a regular physician, their personal physician, and they have diagnosed with cancer, of some form of cancer, that doctor has the avenue and the tools to be able to reach out to St. Jude's. So depending on the severity and the level of the cancer and the stages of the cancer, I believe they always reach out to a centralized location, and then they contact St. Jude's, and then St. Jude's actually looks at that, and it's a very, very quick process. And if they are approved to go to St. Jude's, they send a Learjet from Memphis and pick up that child.
Wow. How many St. Jude's are there in America? There's
One.
Well, there's one main hospital, but there's a lot of satellites throughout the United States. And you may or may not know, John, but when the Ukraine war started, I think within the first 2 weeks, they flew 8 child and their families from Ukraine here to Memphis.
Wow.
Really?
Absolutely.
Wow. And I didn't know that they come get them in a jet. I mean, that's wow.
Now, does St. Jude's only handle children dealing with cancer or any other diseases like autism or something like that?
Their primary research is cancer, and they share that information with Arnold Palmer's Children's Hospital and the other children's hospitals, but their primary focus is on cancer of children.
Wow.
Which obviously it's such a big pool. I mean, and there's so many forms of cancer too. I mean,
So do you have any other future fundraising events planned aside from this?
I don't currently have anything, but I do have approval from St. Jude's. We're hoping to do something next year where we do multiple locations rather than a long weekend. And I reached out to several of the golf courses throughout Volusia County, and we are planning and considering at a strategic planning level of doing 4 different golf courses on the same day.
that's a great idea. Wow. And now all in the, like, what kind of geographical distance from each other? Like
Close enough that the airport has agreed to do a flyover on all 4 golf courses.
Say what?
Wow.
I love it.
That's great.
I love the different partners that you get in. Like, who would think about, okay, now I'm going to get the airport to do a flyover into it. Like, that's the kind of respect that you have in this.
Now, did you just do it like you did with the other guy, where you just walked in and say, "You're going to fly over"?
Yeah. Are you going to get NASA involved now? Like, hey, we're going to have them do a space shuttle launch and.
Well, I don't want to say the names of the golf courses, but if they're all out there, they know who they are, and they know that they partnered with me, and we've had discussions. It's just a matter of putting all the logistics and I need some folks to help me, so we can, maybe put a little request out. People out in Volusia County that are interested in volunteering. It's, limiting to the time they want, 2 hours, 2 days, 2 months, whatever they can do. And we have all different levels of volunteer activities that are needed, not just at the events, but months in advance. Just picking up things from different sponsors is a task in itself. Tomorrow I have 4 visits to different sponsors to pick up items like goodie bags, beverages, and stuff like that. I mean, Wawa is one of our sponsors. They are kind enough to give us, I think it's 13 cases of water that we put out through the golf course.
Wow.
Well, if there's one thing I've learned today is David's got the juice.
He can make it happen. I'll tell you that. We need to hire him for our company.
Yeah, if you're,
I'm retired, John.
yeah, no, if you're ready
I'm
to
Wayne.
Come,
He's
yeah,
John.
Yeah, if you're ready
Wayne,
to come,
John,
if you're ready,
Kirsten, Phil,
if you're ready
I
to
am
come
retired. Don't make me an offer I
if
can't
you're ready to
refuse
come
now.
out of retirement, we'll take you in a heartbeat, because my goodness, he gets all the main players, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Wow.
He gets it. We can't even get appointments with these people.
Yeah, he's like, hey, we're gonna get planes flying over here. We're gonna get this. I'm like, God, I'm doing something wrong.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
firing myself.
Yeah. Yeah. John, why don't we say some kind words about Country
Well,
Inn and Suites?
Thank you so much today for Country Inn and Suites for having us out there today, for having us out, for being our sponsor. And after a day at the beach, guys, I want you to head to the free laundry facilities here at Country Inn and Suites by Radisson and wash the sand and salt out of our swimwear. Relax at their outdoor pool when you want to break from sightseeing, or hold a family party at the patio, complete with a barbecue grill. That's my favorite part, personally. And if you want to prep for a meeting, visit the business center to take advantage of printing services. And in the mornings, you can fuel up for more Port Orange adventures at the free hot breakfast featuring signature waffles here at Country Inn and Suites by Radisson. Remember, guys, you can book your stay at portorangeconnection.com/Country Inn and Suites. So thank you so much, guys, for letting us come out here, Country Inn and Suites. We had a great time today's podcast. Thank you, David, for being our guest.
Well, we're not quite through yet. I got a few more questions.
Oh, I thought you were wrapping it up there,
No,
Dad.
not yet. Not yet. No.
All right.
Okay, so this is the second Pars and a Purpose for
Children's
St.
Charity.
Jude. Okay, are there plans for a third?
There is. It's already been approved for next year. We still are going to have our event at Crane Lakes. It's been approved. We already have the restaurant booked. We have the band booked, and everything is in place for next year's event. It's just going to be the third annual. What I want to do is tie that together with a Volusia County St. Jude's Classic and have 4 golf courses on the same day. My plans are to have a Friday night gala, 400 people, and have that separate from the golf on Saturday. So this year we put the gala in the afternoon, and the golfers play golf all day long, and they're out there, and if it rains, muddy, dirty, they're coming in and having dinner in the evening. So next year our events, our schedule, we're going to do a Friday night gala. It's going to be October 21st, or whatever that day is there. And then on that Saturday, we're going to have the golf again at Crane Lakes. We're also booked for Sunday's golf at Crane Lakes because we know we're going to sell out those 2 days. But on that Saturday, I'm hoping to bring in 3 other golf courses that are here close by and do a 4 golf course swing.
Wow.
Can we do a podcast from over there?
Yeah. Well, we could do a live podcast for that. That'd be fantastic. Unbelievable. Okay, so what can we expect to see during next year's event? I mean, in terms of like you're going to have the bands and all of that stuff, and the luncheon and the.
Well, we'll start off the day at a players' meeting about 8:15, where everybody gathers around, and then at 8:15 we say a few words, and then about 8:20 the airport does a flyover, and they don't just come once; they come circling back around because those boys
awesome.
love doing that.
Wow.
They come out of Spruce Creek, so guys, if you're listening from Spruce Creek Airport, thank you. Looking forward to seeing you. And those gentlemen, the pilots, they all come in for lunch too, and they're just fun.
So that's cool. So you can kind of meet the pilots that just flew over, and neat.
And after that, we have a shotgun start. But this year, we have a little special diversion. We have a Bloody Mary bar that's about 20 feet long. I have 3 women that are setting up. And what we're going to do is we're going to have the starting hole for everybody on the 13th hole.
Oh, wow.
Oh, because it's October.
I get it.
So on the 13th hole, which is a par 3, we call it the loud hole. We have all sorts of activities out there. If you get closest to the pin, you get within 10 feet, you get a free Bloody Mary. But we're going to have all the players with a 15-minute delay. Go to the Bloody Mary bar. If you're not a Bloody Mary bar, there's other things out there on the golf course. There's going to be tacos on the putting green from Tijuana Flats.
Nice.
And there's some sponsors that are going to be out there handing out other beverages. So we do have a starting hole on the putting green. It's Dick's Sporting Goods is sponsoring that hole. You chip over their sign and you get a $100 gift card. And Dick's is also giving us some stuff for the players, one of our sponsors. But I think the putting green is going to be, if you're not a golfer, Phil, you can still come out. You don't have to be part of that.
You said tacos on the putting green. That's me and John's band name.
That's right. yeah. That's our group.
Now, this chipping over the Dick's Sporting Goods sign, that's got my attention because I'm a pretty good chipper. What? That's all I got to do is get it up over the sign?
No.
You got to get into the hole.
You have to get it closest to the hole.
Oh, the closest to the hole going over the sign.
That sign is only about 12 inches high on the ground, so you just chip over the sign. But instead of putting the ball, you're going to have to chip it over there.
Okay.
And on that same green, it's a very large green.
Yes.
For a $5 donation and 2 tries, Phil. You could probably do that.
Oh,
They won't
okay.
even know you're not a golfer. Just show up with a golf club.
Bring 100, Phil. Bring 100.
Okay.
Yeah.
Panera Bread has been kind enough that what they've provided for that contest is at lunch every month for a year.
What?
Lunch for a year?
Lunch once a month. Once a month.
Oh, once a month.
I'm sorry,
Still?
once a month. Once a
Still?
month.
No, that's
I was
seriously.
gonna
That's
say
fine.
That's 365 lunches.
I could
that's
rock
12 lunches.
I could rock once a month. I'm good with that. Okay. All right. I feel you. They don't know what they just did they, Phil?
No. I better start practicing.
I would say we're going to go to the driving range after this podcast.
Please.
In addition to that, Crane Lakes is a very unique golf course. It's a shorter golf course than most golf courses. There's 8 par 3s. And on each one of the par 3s, we have a $50 gift certificate for the closest to the pin. And on the 11th hole from Golf Atlantic, we have a $12,000 golf cart for a hole-in-one.
What?
Which is just before the Bloody Mary bar, but right after the mimosa bar that's going to be on the putting green. So, yeah, mimosas, putt for the Panera Bread, and then you could chip over for the $100 Dick's.
Wow.
Hey, David, so you know Crane Lakes pretty well?
I do.
So I was having I'm not really a golfer. So, sometimes I went out and played one day. 17th hole. I took out my driver.
A driver. Can you believe it?
The distance on the 17 was like 100
I
yards.
was going to say 120.
I connected really well on that one.
How many balls did you lose, John?
Oh man!
How many dozens of balls did you lose?
And I bought like a box of Titleist or something, and I lost them all. I had a bag full of like Winston's or something, like Walmart balls, and I burned my expensive balls.
I played in a golf tournament out there last month, and the playing partner I was playing with came to me and said, "Dave, I am so sorry." I said, "What's the matter, John?" His name was John. I said, "John, what's the matter?" He goes, "I am so sorry. I thought maybe hit my ball or stepped on my ball." He says, "I ran out of balls. I got to quit."
Yeah, really? But
Wow.
my buddy that I was playing with, 'cause I went out on my birthday. This was like maybe 2 years ago. He goes, you're the only idiot that's ever pulled out a driver on the 17th. I said, I have been hitting like garbage all day, so I'm going to make sure that I make it on this one. And I hit perfectly. And I ricocheted off a house. Sorry, whoever that was. And yeah, so.
Now Morgan's after
Now
you.
Morgan's after me. So that was my success at Crane Lakes.
Wow. Okay, so we got some big things that we can expect to see for next year. That'll be exciting.
Mm-hmm.
And how many years beyond that? You're just going to keep going? And
Well, I'm hoping that I can get more of a committee of volunteers to help me throughout the years, because it's very challenging. Last year I had the thought of doing it early summer, and I think if you remember, we had lunch at the Coastal Grill.
Right.
And I said, guys,
Yep.
could you help me? And you stepped up, and you were our title sponsor immediately, and we've been a partner ever since. Well, we started late last year, so I was overwhelmed, but this year I went back to all those sponsors. I thought it was going to be easier. They all said yes very early in January and February, but it's been more time consuming for them because I didn't do just this benefit. I did a benefit at the Eagles Club in South Daytona Shores. We did a Ryder Cup that we put together this year and raised over $10,000, and it was just a couple of MGA members from Crane Lakes, and a couple of members from a traveling team that put together. We raised $10,000. We've had other smaller events throughout the year, so it's not just one golf tournament. I do need to scale back next year. I may not have those other events because with the event in October with 4 golf courses, there's going to be a lot of logistics. So
Right.
Takes a lot of time.
To answer your question directly, I will take this on as long as I can.
Okay, so we need to get some volunteers to help you on this committee then.
Yes.
Let's put a call out to that right now. Okay, and where should they respond, John?
info@beldencommunications.com. Maybe we'll have our director of digital marketing over here put some information together. Maybe we can start promoting that to get a committee together.
Her name is Kristen. And Kristen, we should...
No, my director of digital marketing, his name is Phil.
Oh.
Yeah, and so...
Phil looked like Kristen to me.
Yeah, yes. So we'll have Phil go ahead and put some information together on social media, and we can maybe start to push that out a little bit and putting a committee together. We need to get somebody that when you are truly retired can take this ball and continue with it, right? Yeah.
Oh, well, and Wayne hires me, maybe you'll take over.
There you go.
Because he might be replacing. No,
That's right. Will you promise to keep me on when he hires you?
But here's a thought. Let me throw this out as one of my midnight thoughts. Let's reach out to some of these high school kids, college kids that may want to have, charity type hours and community service. And I could always use people to go out there and take pictures of the teams for me. Interact with
We
the
have an
players.
idea already. We got an idea. We got some system. We work with some schools for some internships and some things that we do, and I think we can put something together.
Now, we need to be very organized with that, and we can't have 25 of them out there. I did have one college come to me and say, we got 25, da-da-da.
Here's a bus.
And I kept saying to, okay, let's, we're 2 months out. I need some help. Oh, we can't do it. We're getting ready for this. We're getting ready for that. Like a month away, they said, and then they said, we're ready to go out for Saturday. No, they don't get it. I need them to help me pick up those goodie bags from the sponsors or the water I need help months in advance, not the day of the event. And I love Crane Lakes volunteers. Thank you to shout out to all the there's 40 people that live out there that volunteer for me for both days, and they're committed.
Yeah. No, we can make it happen. We can help you.
Yeah, if not from the high schools, then from Daytona State College or Bethune-Cookman or Stetson or Embry-Riddle, schools around here. You can get involved and help out. We'd really appreciate that. And Phil, I apologize for mislabeling you.
Oh, it's okay.
But I do want to give a shout out to Kristen because Kristen does an awful lot
Oh,
I mean,
come on.
she's given me all these talking points and stuff, but I know she helps you an awful lot.
She's huge.
I want to thank Kristen.
Huge help, I should say. She's not huge. She's a huge help, Miss Kristen. She's our news and our content editor, and she's
What do you
been
mean
fantastic.
that she's a huge help?
She's a huge help. With
Are you
everything.
making?
I said she's huge. I mean she's a huge help.
Yeah.
She's not huge. She's getting ready to hit me over here.
Dave, I got a quick question too. How has St. Jude's reception been towards you? Because they actually commented on one of our posts, like actual St. Jude's. They were like, "Yeah, like how is your relationship with St. Jude's?"
I have a fantastic relationship with them. Every time I'm talking to them, and I have a Zoom meeting with them every Thursday, they can't praise enough of all the efforts that I put in. And they actually call me a rock star because the volunteer work that I do and what I've been doing, and again, mentoring the Kiwanis group with their kids event, St. Jude's has asked me to share some of my thoughts with other folks. And and the lady that I'm working with there, Yvonne, she's not even really part of my St. Jude's support group. She does annuities, but she used to do events and she just wanted to be involved. And she has driven all the way up from Miami to be with us in March, which was and drove back the same day. And then she drove up yesterday to have lunch with us with my key sponsors.
Dad, weren't you involved with the Kiwanis Club many years ago?
I was a Kiwanian. Yes, I was. That's correct.
A Kiwanian.
Yep, that's what we call ourselves, Kiwanis. And I was a director of the golf tournament 1 year, so I know what it takes to put one of those things on. But let me, any chance we can get Marlo here?
I don't think so. She's still there, but she's not really active, and I don't think we'd ever be able to get her out there. I mean, you know, when St. Jude's has my weekly call and they say, "Dave, what else can we do?" I can certainly ask because I'm not afraid to ask for
Let's
stuff.
go to her. If we can't bring it, she can't come to us. We'll go to her.
She's still doing the
Field
TV
trip.
commercials. I hear her.
Yeah.
I thought that she would be great to get in here.
Yeah.
And is the Daytona National Speedway involved in any way?
I've reached out to them, but they have their own charity efforts that they do, and they thought there might be a conflict of interest there because they do some work with the children, and I have other, but it's not really like that because we help each other, we network. When I go to the Kiwanis, they help me. You know, I have my flyers, my information they put out for me, and I put out for them. I sponsor their team the whole time. So there's a lot of I would say networking partnership.
Right.
But I did reach out to them directly. It's a long-winded answer, but you know they have.
No, I know they do a tremendous job with all the charity work that they do. So I can well understand that. You don't want to conflict with one another. So,
but if I may, Wayne, I want to go back to Kristen. She's been super help for me. I mean, I couldn't have done the things that I did without her help. And one of the many things that she's helped me with was the Eventbrite. And we have that information out there. You can just go out on Eventbrite and do a search for Daytona St. Jude's, and you'll see the luncheon that we have out there for the afternoon event, and that's separate from the golf where we have a band and 50-50s and all sorts of door prizes. The door prizes are crazy. It's a $30 ticket. You'll probably get that back in door prizes walking in the door. We have about 100 tickets left for that luncheon, maybe 150. But you can buy those on Eventbrite, or you can get them at Crane Lakes, or you can contact me and I mail them. And you can make the donation on our website for them, and I can mail the tickets to you.
Awesome.
The lunch is Rose Villa, jambalaya, baked ziti, salad, and Ritter's custards will be there.
right. Yeah, I'm going to tell you, folks that are listening, if you're looking for an event where you can be really helping out some people that really need it, particularly the little children, but this is also an event where if you're new to the area, you could come to this and you're going to meet an awful lot of great people and make a lot of great friends and have a good time. And we really encourage all of you that are listening to get involved with this thing in one form or another.
Yep.
So, David, thank you so much for coming. This has been fantastic. We look forward. We're committed to helping you as long as you need us. If I don't know, did we cover everything that we need to cover? Is there anything else that?
I would just like to thank you for inviting me here today, and double fold that, and thank you for your support, partnership, and the relationship that we've built over the last 2 years, and thank all of you and your staff for all the work that you do for me, helping me promote this. And without your commitment and partnership, I don't think I'd be where I was today, telling you those numbers that I've raised.
Thank you. It's our pleasure.
Thank you so much, David.
Thank you for what
That's
you do.
it. We'll be seeing you the next time. We'll be announcing what where our next show is going to be, and who's going to be the guest. So keep listening to the Lowdown, and hopefully we'll have that news up for you really quick.
Mm-hmm.